Speaking of large commercial facilities in Japan, there's Mitsui Fudosan's Lalaport and Aeon Group's Aeon Mall. These two names come up first. Lalaport is rapidly gaining momentum. It has shown enough presence to support Mitsui Fudosan's strong financial results, but if you simply look at the number of stores, it still can't compete with Aeon Mall. At the time of this video, Aeon Mall has over 160 locations nationwide. When I visit, I try to stand out, but there aren't many people. I often post videos about commercial facilities. However, I haven't had any connection with Aeon Mall. Their management know-how is solid, and they have strong tenant attraction power, so basically, they don't end up in a miserable state. But there was one. It was almost empty and dull, making Aeon Mall stand out. Of all the existing Aeon malls, this is probably the only one in the country that's on the verge of closing down. What exactly is happening at this place? This time, I'll be introducing Aeon Mall Takamatsu in Takamatsu City, Kagawa Prefecture. So let's head there right away. In the background is Aeon Mall Takamatsu, which I'll introduce today. There are barriers set up so you can't turn right to enter, but that's Aeon Mall for you. There's a dedicated traffic mirror here, which is really helpful. Aeon Mall Takamatsu opened in 2007. It's a 3-story building, and among Aeon malls, its size is neither particularly large nor small. However, on holiday, it's spacious enough to enjoy all day. There is a rooftop parking lot and a flat parking lot surrounding the facility with a total capacity of about 3,000 cars. It's even bigger. Other Aeon malls also have parking for about 3,000 cars. With many locations, there are more parking spaces than the facility's size would suggest. There's a reason for this. It's about a 25-minute walk from the nearest station, Takazai Station. So basically, it's a place you go to by car. Walking home for 25 minutes after shopping is tough. The official Aeon Mall website doesn't mention train access. If you don't have a car, a bus is also available and takes about 40 minutes from Takamatsu Station. Am I the only one who feels like the parking lot is kind of lonely or has a dark atmosphere? Maybe it's because I heard it would be empty before coming here. I parked the car in the parking lot. I parked on the specialty store side. There are hardly any cars. Because many Aeon malls draw customers even on weekdays, it feels even emptier. In 2024, part of the empty parking lot was closed and converted into a circus venue. Also, aren't some of the signs faded? Though it's under 20 years old, it felt old. I think being near the sea also has an effect. The area within 500 meters of the sea is the Tenant zone, and this place is likely just inside it. So thank you for waiting. Let me show you inside. This is the first floor, which should be the most crowded, but there are too few people here. It's not that there aren't any people at all, but clearly there are more staff than customers. Sometimes, especially on weekdays, apparel stores have no sales at all. I've never seen an Aeon mall feel this deserted before. In the past, Aeon Mall Nagoya Port was an Aeon mall that was way too empty. It was a big topic, but I never went before it closed. If I had done YouTube then, I would have gone, so I regret it. I'll make up for that regret here at Aeon Mall Takamatsu. There aren't many people, but plenty of stores remain. Aeon Mall is mainly a weekend destination. It seems like people come here on weekends. I don't think weekend sales alone are enough, so the rent here is probably lower than at other Aeon malls. But Aeon has its own website for searching and recruiting tenants. However, since the rent and initial costs are basically not disclosed, I can't say anything for sure. Go further to reach the restaurant floor. Large commercial facilities usually have the restaurant floor on the first floor. Most Aeon malls are like that too. Restaurants have high incidental demand and benefit from good locations. Putting them on the first floor attracts more customers. But what happened when you came in through that entrance? Aeon's tenant recruitment site shows this section was last updated in December 2023. That means it hasn't been filled for almost 2 years. There are also noticeable vacancies further ahead. The tenants that remain now, most of them are well-known chain stores like McDonald's and Caesarea. With so few customers, everyone competes for them, making this situation inevitable. Restaurants already have low profit margins because of labor costs, food expenses, and utility bills. Even if there are no customers, there are still many costs, so it's understandable that some places have to close down. Beside McDonald's, a map displayed the first floor restaurants. It seems that the number of stores has decreased from 12 to 7. The Aeon grocery section was fairly crowded. The filming was around 5:30 post-meridium, which is the busiest time for the supermarket. It looks like local residents and workers are coming to shop. There seem to be fewer people than usual for peak time, but let's not worry. Now, we've come to the second floor. If the first floor is empty, there will be fewer people on the second floor. By the way, I really love Aeon Mall. Of course, I also love empty shopping malls, but honestly, because of the frozen interior design, there are a lot of problems with the flow of movement, so it's a bit tricky to use them in daily life. On the other hand, Aeon Mall has a really easy to understand layout, which makes me want to go there every day. That's why it feels like they dominate the market. Let's set this place aside for now. A few second floor units are vacant. Like this, there are places where the next tenant hasn't moved in, and traces of the previous store remain. You often see this at other commercial facilities, but not much at Aeon. Maybe it's just my imagination. In my opinion, it's great that Aeon Mall has mats on floors above the second. Makes walking easier. If the second floor is like this, I wonder how the third will be. I'm a bit nervous heading there. There were even fewer people. I want a part-time job at this Aeon Mall. About 2 food court stores are vacant. It's not peak restaurant time, so I can't say for sure, but it's not very lively. To begin with, the food court itself is small. The restaurant's first floor is small, which makes me curious why. Maybe it's because everyone eats udon? Even though this is an Aeon mall, I found it unusual that Aeon created its own rest area and children's play space. This is often used in vacant commercial spaces to fill space. They're still technically recruiting tenants, but it seems they've mostly given up. The open atrium to the rooftop parking lot looked cool. Now then, Aeon Mall separates the areas for attracting tenants based on the type of store. For example, you handle attracting food and beverage tenants, you handle attracting fashion tenants, and you handle attracting amusement tenants, something like that. Each person specializes in their own genre and has strong connections. They're all top-notch professionals. This is one of the reasons why Aeon Mall is the strongest, but even so, this Aeon Mall Takamatsu is at a loss. From here, I'll explain why things have ended up like this. Aeon Mall Takamatsu opened in 2007. However, even before it opened, there were quite a few concerns about whether it would be able to succeed. There was simply too much competition. Kagawa Prefecture is among the nation's most competitive areas for commercial facilities. According to the Japan Shopping Center Association, there are 23 commercial facilities in Kagawa Prefecture. A 2005 survey before Aeon Mall Takamatsu opened found Kagawa ranked 5th nationally, with 46 large retail stores over 1,500 square meters per 100,000 people. The annual sales per employee were about 3.08 million yen, which was significantly lower than the national average of about 3.517 million yen. And it was said that considerable ingenuity would be required to succeed. There are also 2 other large commercial facilities in Kagawa Prefecture. Those are Aeon Mall Ayagawa and Yume Town Takamatsu. Aeon Mall Ayagawa opened a year after Aeon Mall Takamatsu and includes a movie theater. Kagawa Prefecture has 3 movie theaters, but only this one is in a large commercial facility. Yumeon Takamatsu is a commercial facility that opened in 1998. Yumeon Takamatsu is the top commercial facility in Kagawa Prefecture, enjoying overwhelming popularity. It boasts the highest sales in this area. Aeon Mall Takamatsu hasn't had any standout features and hasn't been able to make its presence felt since it first opened. The bookstore, central to the specialty store area, closed the year after opening. Because of things like this, an unsettling atmosphere was already starting to spread. There were 150 stores when it first opened, but tenants kept pulling out one after another, and the size of each section kept getting bigger. Thanks to that, they somehow managed to keep vacancies to a minimum, but even that is reaching its limit now. When it first opened, there were 150 stores, but if you count them by hand now, there are only 91 stores left. Currently, 18 sections are seeking tenants, so the maximum number of stores is now 109, less than 2/3 of the original count when it opened. Still, the vacancy rate is around 15%. Moreover, all the tenants currently being recruited are on their final renewal. It's been over a year since listing, so these spaces have remained empty for a long time. By the way, Aeon Mall. At Ayakawa, 3 of 146 stores are vacant, making the vacancy rate about 2%. The gap is huge. As I mentioned, the restaurant withdrawal is especially noticeable. Of the 18 vacant spaces, including the food court, 7 were formerly restaurants. Even though there are already so few restaurants, why are so many of them pulling out? Is it just that everyone eats udon? Well, it's pretty common for one commercial facility to lose out to another commercial facility. But there are also reasons unimaginable elsewhere. That's the strength of the shopping district. Marugame Town in Kagawa Prefecture has 8 shopping streets, including the main district. The strength of Takamatsu Central Shopping District really stands out. This was filmed around 4 p.m. on a weekday before going to Aeon Mall Takamatsu. I was foolish to think that shopping streets in regional cities would all be empty. Few tenants have left, and even Vin and Rolex stores remain on the shopping street. It's amazing. This shopping street was affected during the Heisei era, as large commercial facilities caused many tenants to leave. However, they boldly went ahead with large-scale redevelopment. As a result, it was a huge success. They also drew a younger crowd, including many high school and college students. Its central Takamatsu City location makes it easily accessible by train or car. It's impressive, especially since in many places like Tokushima, large suburban malls have drawn customers away, making downtowns less lively. If you can shop in the downtown district, there's no need to travel to suburban commercial facilities. Unlike other areas, it's really tough because you not only have to compete with commercial facilities, but you also have to win the battle against the shopping streets. Aeon Mall now poses a threat to shopping streets and nearby commercial facilities nationwide. However, Aeon Mall Takamatsu faces competition from shopping streets and nearby commercial centers, making it a rare case even nationwide. In my next video, I'll feature Marugame Meiji Shopping Street, which declined but made a strong comeback. If interested, watch the next one too. Aeon stores are known for quickly closing their locations. However, there aren't actually that many Aeon Mall closures. There have been no rebuilds, only complete withdrawals. For Aeon Mall, only Aeon Mall Nagoya Port comes to mind. They conduct location surveys using abundant data to make sure they don't operate at a loss. Most Aeon malls actually appear to be profitable. Because Aeon Mall stores don't disclose sales, it's difficult to know for certain. I feel like Takamatsu is barely breaking even. It's not like there aren't any stores at all, and I feel like they're getting normal rental income. However, when I look at how faded the exterior is, I get the feeling that they can't spend money on maintenance, so I was a bit worried. Honestly, Aeon Mall might be the next place to withdraw and end up like that. Since Nagoya Port also closed down pretty quickly, if you're interested, you should go check it out as soon as possible. That's it for this video. See you again in the next one.